Hi guys, this isn't a plug, but I'm really excited. My family, as you know, was very dysfunctional, very traumatic, and we were told quite a bunch of lies. I was told on my mother's side that there was a count who was Jewish, who came from Germany, and he came at the turn of the 19th century to England, and his name was von Ludaeus, and I've looked up the name Ludaeus, and it actually means in German wealthy Jew. So that could be quite true. But I've always wondered if my father was my father. And that's because my mother at the time had another boyfriend whose name was Arthur. And my father always claimed that Arthur was my father, or that the window, cleaner was my father. And in one way, it would kind of be really nice that to know that the man who abused me wasn't my father, because it kind of makes it creepier and dirtier when blood commits incest on blood. That's not to take away the fact that this man was in the role of my father and should not have done what he did. He betrayed his duties as the father. He was a sexual predator, and I have discussed this. But I am really excited because I've been told on my father's side stories that I have Jewish blood as well. And also, my grandmother claimed that her grandmother was the illegitimate daughter of the King of England. So, guys, all their lies are now going to come out because I just paid at AncestryAustralia.com $158.99. Now, 128 of it was for the DNA test, and the $29 was for the shipping. So that's going to arrive in 7 to 14 days. Then you do a swab, activate it, and sent back. So watch this space, because in a month's time I'm going to come back on and tell you what my ethnicity is, because at the moment this is all I know, that I'm German, Jewish, and English. I know nothing else. And I definitely know that my mother is my mother, so the only truth I know is my mother's is my mother and her mother is her mother. So that's one side. I only know 25% of truth. And on my mother, who's my mother, so my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, claims to be the daughter of this count, this Jewish count that came from Germany. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if he wasn't the father? We don't know what went on back then, so I'm really excited. My children also have a mystery, because once this is solved up, their father, so my this is my eldest two, not my youngest one, because he had a different father, but for my eldest two, their paternal father, half of that they can trace, but the other half they can't, because it is rumoured that my husband at the time, his father was a full-blown Aboriginal from the stolen generation, so that side's lost. So once my DNA comes back, and because they've got 25% of their father, they'll have full 50 of me, they'll have 75% of knowing where they came from, and that's better than the lies that... Why do families tell lies? My husband Rob, for example, his family says I said the rot stops of my generation, and because I married a younger man, his mother was my age, and she told Rob lies. She told Rob that they came out on the Bounty. The Bounty did not have convicts, and she told him that they came out as convicts on the Bounty. So why do families lie? I'll tell you. Because of shame and pain. They don't want you to know. As far as I'm aware, if my father is my father, I have only 5 cousins, depending on whether their fathers are the real father. But I've only got 5 cousins, 2 siblings and 5 cousins. On my mother's side, there's not, unless, again, illegitimate. But wouldn't it be a shock if I come back and there's hundreds of people with my DNA that are my relatives? It's beautiful, people. So I kind of am plugging it. Get a DNA test done. If you really have a big question mark, people had to hide skeletons in their closet in their past. You know, it's only today's age that we can freely tell our story, that I can freely share my sexual trauma, and that my kids truly know who their father is, because I'm very honest. They know who their father is. But from my funny thing is I'm classified as a baby boomer, but my parents are baby boomers. My parents were born in the 40s. I was born 1961, towards the end of the baby boomer era. The baby boomer era is the biggest era. And so there was a lot of stuff that was going on with the wars, you know, secret affairs and things, and even in Victoria times, you know, shh. So I am so grateful that there are DNA tests available today, and I'm going to know who I am. I strongly suspect a large percentage of me to be English, and I'm going to get a hell of a shock if it's not. I was born in England myself. That's all I know. My mother was born in England. That I know. And my father, if he is my father, he was born in England. That's all I know. That is all the reality I know. I don't know anything about this Arthur. I could have brothers and sisters. This is scary. So watch this space. I will do an update once my DNA results return, and I'll tell you what I found out. So at the moment, this is what I know, that I am about a quarter Jewish, about an 1/8 German, and the rest English. I don't know anything else. Love to you. Happy wet Friday as it is. Take care.